Animal alphabet from ape to zebra by Kara McMahon. Illustrated by Christopher Moroni. A. Elmo is ready to learn the animal alphabet from ape to zebra. Can you guess what animal begins with A? That's right, ape begins with A. Ant also begins with A. B. Bear begins with B. B also begins with B. C. Camel begins with C. Canary and cat also begin with C. D. Dog begins with D. Duck begins with D too. E. Elephant begins with E. F. Fox begins with F. And Ernie begins with E. And fun begins with F. G. Giraffe and grasshopper begin with G. And don't forget goldfish. H. Hippopotamus begins with H. That's a very big word for a very big animal. I. Iguana begins with I. J. Jaguar begins with J. I, Professor Grover, would like to point out that both of these animals have long tails. K. Kangaroo and koala begin with K. L. Llama, ladybug, and lizard all begin with K. L. Llama, ladybug, and lizard all begin with L. Okay, L. M. Monkey begins with M. Elmo loves monkeys. N. Nightingale begins Nightingale begins with N. O. Owl begins with O. Birds of a feather flock together. P. Pigeon begins with P. And pig begins with P too. Q. Quail begins with Q. R. Rabbit begins with R. I do not know there was a Q animal, did you? S. Swan begins with S. And squirrel begins with S. T. Toucan begins with T. Hola, pretty birdie. U. Unicorn begins with U. V. Vulture begins with V. We can't find a real animal that begins with U, but there is the unicorn. Elmo knows that unicorns are make-believe. W. Worm begins with W. We Grouches love worms. X. Exanops begins with X. X is also for Xenopus and Exopotamus is a kind of frog and Exopotamus is a kind of bird. There are two animals with X names. How can it be? Y. Yak begins with Y. Z. Can you guess what animal begins with Z? That's right, zebra begins with Z. And zebu does too. Zebu does too. Let's go through this alphabet again. Back to the ape. The end.